Ball, we all are, right? We're just 2 days away from the epic showdown between the Miami Dolphins and the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs across the pond over in Germany. We'll have live team coverage for you as the Dolphins prepare for kickoff, plus some exciting, interesting facts about the American-German historic ties.
Yes, there's so much to learn. First of all, happy Friday, and thank you so much for waking up with us on this November 3rd. I'm Shirley Amara, once again in for Constance Jones.
And I'm Chris Anderson. Hope you've had a fantastic week. We are, again, another day closer to the Dolphins taking on the Chiefs right here. You'll see it Sunday morning on NBC 6.
Yeah, it's definitely a game you don't want to miss. But first, let's check in with Constance Jones, who did follow the team across the pond overseas. Constance, a lot of excitement, of course, leading up to this big game. I see you're all bundled up there, too.
Yeah, it was really cold yesterday, and it's cold today, waking up to the mid-40s here in downtown Frankfurt. So, yes, Chris, I have my dollar store gloves, as you were calling me out yesterday in the thicker jacket. But, yeah, a lot of Dolphin fans are here. In fact, they're getting a tour right now here in the inner part of the city. This is the real historic part, and American soldiers helped to rebuild this area. I'm going to have some more details on that story coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you guys in the studio.
Can't wait. Love to see the dollar store gloves putting in work.
Absolutely.
Getting your money.
This game is happening in Germany. So exciting. But if you didn't know, our very own NBC 6 morning anchor, Constance Jones, has pretty close ties to Germany.
Well, about as close as you can get.
Right.
She was born there.
She's
in Stuttgart. Her family is tens of thousands of other American families, has a military connection to our country. My father was stationed in Berlin. Her father was stationed in Germany. It's a relationship that still exists today. Soldiers working in raising their families overseas. So she joins us live this morning with her family's story. And it all began not far from where you are standing right there, Constance.
You're exactly right. The love story that I'm going to get to in just a few minutes. But today, there are about 35,000 American service members stationed right here in the country of Germany. Now, at the height after the war, after World War II, there are nearly 400,000 soldiers that were stationed across the country, most of them here in Frankfurt. Chris, you mentioned your dad was stationed in Berlin. My dad was stationed right outside of Frankfurt in Würzburg and also in Stuttgart. That's where he met my mother. It was the 70s, and it was likely love at first sight for my parents, George and Ursula Jones.
There were lots of discos.
Yeah.
And we did meet at a disco.
There they are in their flyest gear.
So we were dancing all over the place.
Yes.
Wearing high heel shoes, my wife wearing miniskirt and all this stuff here.
This year, they celebrate 50 years of marriage. My parents tying the knot at Stuttgart City Hall, just south of Frankfurt. After World War II, thousands of U.S. troops were stationed in Germany. And just weeks after high school graduation, my dad enlisted.
Instead of sending me to Vietnam, they sent me to Germany.
Serving in the U.S. Army Rangers Special Operations Force, my father provided top secret security for missiles in Germany.
It is a Persian nuclear missile unit, the only unit of its type in the United States Army.
Meanwhile, my mother was busy raising my sisters and I.
There was really no way to just pick up a phone and call the husband if something was going on. Now
Hello?
the challenge was mainly that he was gone a whole lot. But by then, I think our girls were used to it, and they really enjoyed being in Germany.
Over the years, the U.S. cut back on its military presence in Europe, but there are still thousands of military families stationed across the country, providing an important diplomatic service for the United States. So as far as for my family, my father had several tours of duty here in Germany, in Stuttgart, obviously where I was born and where he met my mother, and also outside of Würzburg as well, where I was a Girl Scout. I told that story as well. That's where really my sisters and I grew up for a couple of years. So there's still a very large presence. And during the game this weekend, the military will also be involved with a number of activities. So we're going to have more on that coming up later in the show. Back to you guys.
Constance, I know you had a chance to talk to some soldiers while you were there, or while you're there in Frankfurt. Just what is it like for an American soldier? And I know you can speak firsthand with your father spending time there, my father spending time there as well. But what is it like for soldiers, American soldiers today, spending time in Frankfurt and all across Germany?
Frankfurt, something that's very interesting about Germany, and that's likely because of the war, nearly half of Germans, they speak English. So there's a strong American-German connection, a friendship that spans over decades. And what's even more exciting is the NFL being here in town. So everyone that I've talked to, they are so excited about the game. Everyone wants a ticket to get in. And so the NFL has done a really good job at making sure that our armed forces are included in the game. In fact, I'm going to be speaking with a Marine later today. He's going to be a part of the color guard during the game. So it's a lot of fun. It's very exciting. Of course, make sure you tune in later today as well. Sarah Cardona is here with me in Deutschland and Germany as we work on stories, unique stories about our Dolphins fans and, of course, the team, everything that's happening with the big game this weekend. And, of course, on Sunday morning, stick with NBC6. The news starts at 7 a.m., followed by a pre-game show.
As we continue to cover the Dolphins' journey to Germany, we are delving into the culture as well.
Yeah, so there are a few generalizations, maybe some stereotypes about Germany, which includes the language, the clothing. Do all Germans wear lederhosen, right? That's what you're wondering. And the food. What's up with the food? NBC6's Constance Jones is back to uncover and do some digging about the truth, the myths, the legends, and the perceptions surrounding the people of Germany. And let's start with the clothing.
Yeah, Chris, do you have your lederhosen?
I'm wearing them.
I think you have your leather shorts
It's under my
on, right?
suit.
You're wearing them, right? That's good to hear. Yeah, there are some stereotypes, some generalizations when it comes to German culture. I can tell you that right here behind me, this is traditional German architecture. We're here again in the inner Stadt of Frankfurt, but this is a very special area that was rebuilt. Not all of Frankfurt looks like this. In fact, if you come into Frankfurt, many people call it the Manhattan of Germany. They have just as many high-rises as we do here in Miami as well, or I should say in Miami, South Florida. The time change is a little crazy for me this morning, but I can tell you there are a lot of generalizations out there.
Beer, pretzels, oh, and of course the outfits. Festive images of Oktoberfest are often the first thing that comes to mind when some people think of German culture. And when it comes to traditional cuisine,
this is a butter all mixture. That's why we're going to fry the schnitzel.
Fritz and Franz Beer House in Coral Gables definitely feels like Deutschland.
In Frankfurt, they serve it with the green sauce. Okay, here we have the beautiful beer schnitzel.
After 25 years of business, owner Harold Newvig has heard it all.
Most of the people, the Americans, think, first of all, every German is wearing lederhosen.
But not every German wears these leather shorts known as lederhosen or drindles for women.
They basically don't differentiate from the North German to South German. On the South German image is much lighter.
This type of clothing originated in the state of Bavaria. But where my family comes from, the Black Forest area known as Schwarzwald, the folk clothing is more conservative and sometimes includes these headdresses with red pom-poms.
There are those who say that the German language sounds a little bit angry. So if I say, meine Mutter arbeitet als eine Krankenschwester und mein Lieblingsurlaub ist Weihnachten, I'm just saying that my mother is a nurse and my favorite holiday is Christmas. But Germans, they can be rather direct.
We might come across being harsh by being more like, okay, I don't want to tell you 3 times the same thing. Do it the way you're supposed to do it.
German Consul General Christopher Berger echoes the same answer.
Germans, I mean, we do have a habit of getting to the point fairly quickly. Other parts of the country, people, can take offense and feel like we're being rude. We're not rude. We're really nice people. But yeah, we tend to get to the point.
Also, if you go out to a restaurant, be prepared for a slightly warmer drink.
The team chef needs to call the hotel ahead of game and say, listen, we need a ton of ice.
Dolphin fans might need some extra ice for that soda. It's a trend that you'll find across Europe.
I have the same thing, and I go around to my family, and I'm ready to bring my ice with me because nobody has ice.
And before you have to go, it's not a myth, it's a fact. Most public bathrooms require change to use it.
It's always a logistical issue. People get very serious about always carrying a little change in their pocket in order to be able to do that.
Because sometimes we end up, they need money to go to the bathroom.
One final thing you might notice if you travel overseas, it's called the German stare. If you speak with a German, They want your full attention.
I've noticed it was moving here, noticing, why don't these people make eye contact, And I thought it was very, impersonal and, are people afraid of me? Or, do I have something in my face that, they're embarrassed to look at? So for us, it's just a way of, letting the other person know that, you've noticed them and they're acknowledging them.
Yeah, the German stare. The first time my husband came with me to visit my family here in Germany, we were on the train and he was like, everyone's looking at me. I said, yeah, they look at each other. That's what they do. This is a very German sort of thing. And also another big question some Americans have asked me, is Oktoberfest like a holiday here in Germany? It's not. It's in Munich at a very specific location, and every state has their own kind of harvest festival where they get together in beer tents, but Oktoberfest is not something that everyone goes to. In fact, my family here in Germany, they would avoid Oktoberfest. It's a very American sort of thing.
And we want to start, of course, with that energy, that excitement that just keeps on growing as we inch closer to game day. Now, we've been talking about this epic matchup all week long, but it's about more than the matchup itself. Now, during the game this Sunday, the NFL will honor active duty service members stationed overseas, because if you didn't know, there are thousands of U.S. military personnel currently working in Germany. And it's actually a work-life scenario our very own anchor Constance Jones understands firsthand. Of course, your father was a veteran. He was, of course, stationed in Germany as well, not too far, from where you were born, right? And obviously seeing this sizable amount of military presence, talk about what we can expect to see from the NFL.
Well, guten Morgen first, Renee. We've got to say German as much as we can for our viewers in South Florida. Hello and willkommen nach Deutschland. We are here in downtown Frankfurt, and I am at the fan experience. It is happening this morning. As you can see, a live look. We're just a few miles away from the Innenstadt, and there are hundreds and hundreds of fans. You can see a lot of folks dressed up there. You're looking at the quarterback challenge there. There are tons of people waiting in line for their chance to play that football game for today. Of course, it's very, very exciting. Now, I had a chance to speak to some of the fans here, and you know what? There are a lot of fans from Germany. In fact, most of the fans we spoke to today are traveling from across the country to be here for the game tomorrow. But it's exciting for the German fans, but it's also exciting for our hometown heroes. In fact, I want to introduce you to a really special Marine who's going to be a part of the game come tomorrow. Let me show you some video of this guy. He's amazing. He's a Marine. His name is Richardson Tumalak, and he is the one who is receiving the special honor of being part of the color guard. Now, this is super special because it's a joint service color guard. There's one person representing the Army, the other person representing the Marines, a Navy service member, and also a member of the German military. Now, along with working in Frankfurt, he's been stationed in China and North Africa, and he says he is looking forward to the matchup.
It's a little unexpected for me. I didn't expect such a high anticipation for the NFL in Europe, especially considering every time I say soccer, they say football. So to see how anticipated this event is, it's jaw-dropping. I didn't expect it at all.
And he's a Texas native who's super excited that football is here in such a big way, such a big showing with the NFL. So when you watch the game tomorrow and you see them present the colors, you're going to see him there along with the German service members who are going to be there as well. So we're going to hear the American national anthem. We're also going to hear the German national anthem during the game, which is typical for these sort of games. Coming up a little bit later in the show, we're going to have more details on the military presence and also more on the fan reaction. Shanae, back to you.